Hello, Stephen King here again. Where did we leave off? Oh, I put the 2-week notice in. And man, I'm thinking, I have utilities, got a mortgage, I got car insurance, I got car maintenance, I got health insurance, I got groceries, I got emergencies, miscellaneous. What if I got a flat tire? What if I need to get something fixed on the car? And I just put in a 2-week notice to do fitness, self-employment, entrepreneurship. But the crazy thing, I don't know anything about either of the three. I only had one client 3 times a week for a month. And now I'm giving my job a 2-week notice. Oh my God. I was terrified. I gotta admit it, I was terrified. But I was still thinking, man, if you wait too late in life, life will go by you and you'll never do this. Never ever will you do this. I was just struggling with, do I go for life fulfillment or play it safe? It's just not an easy choice to make. I was starting this new year with a new lease on life. Not a New Year's resolution, but a new lease on life that I was gonna do forever. At this time, my good friend Corey had one client for me, and it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5:30 a.m., $30 a pop. So I was making $90 a week. And I'm like, okay, I got a mortgage to pay and all this other stuff, and I'm making $90 a week. But I did have a financial cushion. I saved up like 4 to 6 months of my expenses so that I could go that long and not be worried about much. I just focus on getting good at my crafts, working with people, etc., fitness. I just needed that safety blanket of saved up revenue. And that's what I saved up for myself. But don't get me wrong, that doubtful voice always comes in. Did you make the right choice? Okay. You're wondering, how did that shirt turn from red to blue? Well, the last recording was the other day, and today I have on a blue shirt. So, it's time to get with it. All right, Stephen King here again. Now, I knew that if I was going to be successful, I had to change the business model that was currently in front of me. I had to make it accommodate the client. There's no way I was going to be successful if I did it. I did not want to go back to a job. I decided that I was going to go in full time, and I had to make it work. There was no plan B or C. I needed more experience. I basically had none, with the exception of working with that one lady Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in December. The only way I was going to get more experience was to work with more people. But how was I going to get more people? What I decided was I was going to lower the prices to where they were minimal to nothing. I just had to do this. I had to make that sacrifice. Well, I didn't consider it a sacrifice, but this is what I had to do to get people to say yes to my training. Nobody knew me. I had no references, nothing at all. the more people that I eventually worked with, the more experience I would get. And once I did get more experience, I could make more revenue, generate more money. But I had to start somewhere. This is me changing the business model because, like I said, you got to innovate, you got to make some changes to accommodate the path that you're going to create for yourself. So you have to do it in a way that it works best for you. I would empower my clients by not having contracts. Most of the time when people sign up with a personal trainer, but this could relate to any kind of business, right? But it just so happened that I was doing personal training. And so most of the time when people will sign up with a personal trainer, there's a contract that tells you, that has these rules with it, and you sign it and you pay this money up front for a certain amount of sessions and you agree to these different things. Well, I decided I wasn't going to do that. I was going to allow the clients to pay however was convenient for them. They could pay a session at a time, they could pay a week at a time, they could pay a month at a time. I wanted them to feel like they were in control of this. Also, I was going to have flexibility with them. A lot of times, if a client works with a trainer, the trainer wants to be given 24 hours notice of a cancellation. That's not always possible with working mothers or fathers. Things come up, and most of the people that I was working with at one time were mothers. And so for any reason, they could have to go and take care of a kid, or someone could call a meeting, or they have to work late. Anything could happen. So if they had to cancel with me, I would say no problem. Just pick another time, another day this week that you are available, and we'll do it then. I wasn't concerned about missing out on that whatever amount for that session for that day. I was more concerned with getting longevity with clients and getting more experience. And like, to me, charging people for a session because they had to cancel and it wasn't a dire emergency, I felt like it wouldn't keep people involved and interested in doing this. It's hard enough to get people to exercise in the first place. So, yes, those were some of the changes that I made. Now, there was times when I had clients that canceled frequently, and it was very often, and that can throw my schedule off because we were scheduled to meet, and then all of a sudden this person can't meet. So I got an hour that could have been used doing something else, but now it's an empty hour because this person canceled at the last minute or the day of, and they did it kind of repetitively. So what I would do is I would say, hey, right now, it doesn't look like your life can accommodate fitness sessions because within the last 3 weeks, there's been X amount of cancellations. So why don't we pause these fitness sessions until a time when your life is a little more freer and can handle more obligations. And that way we can do it steadily. And if we do it steadily, then you actually get a benefit from it. Because us doing 2 this week and 1 next week, then 1 next week, and skip 2 weeks, you're not benefiting from this. So that's what I would do whenever someone wind up being too busy to meet for their sessions. Just pause it until the time comes that you can meet again. And if you can't, if your life stays busy, then we had a good time working together. And it was nice working with you. I wanted clients to be meeting with me because they wanted to, not because they had to. For instance, if I wasn't a good fit for a client, they didn't have to keep doing 7 more sessions with me because they paid for 10 and they used 3 and they have 7 more, but I'm not a good fit for them. Then they have to begrudgingly meet with me 7 more times. That doesn't benefit me and it doesn't benefit them. So if we did 3 sessions and they were not a good fit, if I was not a good fit, then they could cancel. No problem. Easier for them, easier for me. Yes, yes, yes. Another thing that I did was I did the sessions with them wherever it was convenient for them. At their work, home, neighborhood park. Once I was meeting with a client, her son had a football game. And during the or was it practice? No, it was practice. During the practice, she and I met on the field, on the other side of the field while her son was in football practice. She loved it. And for me, I didn't think of that as extra work. It was interesting. Like, man, I get to go somewhere different, be in a different environment, atmosphere. To me, it all made sense, I tell you. I had one client tell me, Steve, you took all of my excuses away. Okay, I'm going to do this personal training and fitness because I was meeting with her in her office at her job. She didn't feel like going downstairs to the gym, so I said, don't you worry, we're coming to you. So that's the way some of the changes I made so that it would be so convenient for the clients. They didn't have to, all they had to do is open the door and here we go, your gym is right where you are. Then I have a current client who told me about a trainer that she and her husband, and they had to meet at the same time every week. 2 times out of the week, they had to meet at the same time. And she said, even though I'm retired, I got a life and I couldn't stick with it. I like to do things at different times. And that's why that trainer lost a client. She's been with me for 5 years. So bringing the convenience to the client, it definitely will encourage a client to stick with it a lot longer. Another reason for the success of my enterprise is that I use minimal equipment. And so because I use minimal equipment, I don't have to be in the gym, fitness center. It can be done at a park. It can be done in the living room. It can be done on the back porch. I remember doing fitness sessions with people on their front porches, very small. It was a row house, townhouse row house. We were doing a fitness session on the front porch. And so because I don't need a lot of equipment, like all the machines and things like that, the business can be mobile anywhere. That's what you want. Now it requires a little bit of imagination and creativity, but that's what we want. We want to challenge ourselves in different ways. Others may consider this too much devotion or dedication, but I wanted to succeed. I did not want to have to go back to a job. I cemented this in myself that I am going to do this. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be successful. And thinking back, I remember running into a fellow that took the personal certification course with me. And he was working in the grocery store. I remember him putting cans up on the shelves. And I asked him why he wasn't doing fitness anymore. And he told me that the potential clients did not want to pay what it cost. But remember, I lowered those prices. I think I was charging $25 a session at one time. Yep, I was charging $25 a session. I didn't care that I was charging so less, such a small amount. I wanted to get experience, and the only way to get it, remember, was to work with people. And so this guy was working at Giant. He had a personal trainer certification that he actually let expire because he couldn't get any clients to work with him. Why didn't he think, let me lower the prices so I can get some experience? Yes, yes, yes. It was winter time. Well, winter time was approaching, and I did not want to lose the clients that I had. Now, these clients were different generations, some in their 60s, 70s, 30s, 40s. They were all in between. And I had a screened-in porch on the back of my house. My dad loves to do construction and stuff and building things. So my dad, I asked him, hey Dad, can you close this in? Because I would like to do fitness on the back of my house instead of trying to get these people to go to a gym. And these people would not do that. They're not interested in gyms. There are other people in the world who they can't stand going to a gym or fitness center. And I knew this. And so my dad, I bought the materials and he got a helper. I paid the helper, and he built the fitness center, just closed it in. Fitness studio, I'm sorry, on the back of the house, closed in the screened-in porch. And then I worked with people at home for free. And that way, they did not have to buy a membership. I didn't have to get a membership. And then charge them more or less or whatever. It's just that it was so convenient because these people didn't have to be bothered with a gym membership. So easy and so good.